If you watched Friday's market wrap on YouTube, you probably didn't get to see the second half of the video because I ran into my platform froze and then I stopped the broadcast with the intention of restarting it. And then it picked back up before I ended the Facebook stream. So I just went ahead and finished the stream. So if you watched it on YouTube, you want to see the second half of the video on Facebook, then go to Facebook and you can watch the rest of the video. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, it froze. I stopped the YouTube broadcast, and then right after I stopped, it kind of unfroze. So Facebook kind of stayed up and running. So the complete video is over there. All right, let's go ahead and get started. It looks like we just closed. All right, so we'll take a look at closing price here for the Qs and SPY. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for August 15th, 2022. Q's up another 0.81. Started off this morning gapping down about 0.5%, and then SPY 0.41. We talked about how on Friday, whatever kind of move we got on Friday, it was going to set the tone for the next week, going into next week, and we had a pretty bullish day on Friday. SPY went up and took out the highs. I forget if Q's was able to do so as well. Q's, I think, stopped right at it, but of course took it out this morning. So we come into this week bullish, of course, and we're going to stay bullish going into tomorrow. Just an impressive grind here on the Qs and SPY. 20 MA still parallel. And, to keep things simple, we've been watching the hourly here. While the hourly did break here on the Qs, we went to neutral. Remember, the SPY did not break the hourly uptrend. It just retested the support there, and so SPY still holding. So we did go to neutral just for a day there, but then market immediately recovered, and then since then it's maintained the uptrend. We've seen a couple times, would there be a potential for breakout failure? We don't know until it gets below the base, and it has yet to really give a breakout failure. A couple times breakout, no follow through, okay, but without taking out the bottom of the base, the uptrend hasn't failed quite yet. Okay, so now with this grind up, we really would have to take out Thursday's low. Okay, so that's a little bit of a ways away. We could put in a pivot tomorrow and then use that moving forward here on the hourly, but still right now, we don't really have a pivot besides Thursday's low there prior to the gap up. So market here, still bullish for tomorrow. Okay, pretty straightforward. Just going to follow that hourly chart. All right, let's go over the plays from today. Now today, Monday morning's often a little bit slower, which one thing really nice about that is it gives me a chance to scan at the open. Even though, I'm on the mic, trading the open, still, find time to scan, which today made all the difference. Okay, so we'll go over kind of the plays here. First play, so this was on the gaps list, was the DOYU. Now the DOYU gapping up over this base, another daily transition here, basically something that wasn't a downtrend base and then trying to turn back around. That has been the go-to play here for these last few weeks since the market's been rallying. And played it this morning, kind of like a 1 minute breakout. Okay. Now, as it broke out here, so here was the play on this base breakout right here. Okay. So started off okay. Now, if you were in the room with me, one thing, as soon as it broke out, I went to go check where are the targets. Sometimes this happens when you're kind of trading the open and also just in general, you got to make a decision. I didn't like that resistance left, so immediately killed half on the pop as soon as it started to come back, and then let the rest fail, which it did. Okay, so the DOYU did not work. That was the first play out of the gate here. The gap was okay. The main issue, like I said, the daily resistance, as soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, a little bit too aggressive. I don't really like that much. So that was the first play. The next play was the APRN. APRN was an additional find here later on. Found it that it was gapping up, showing a lot of strength here, running up into that pivot, but still had room. The APRN, I believe, was just a 2-minute base breakout. Just a 2-minute base breakout here. So that was pretty good. Actually, was in this till the end of the day. APRN did have a bit of a deep pullback here. I was thinking, if we get a deep pullback, maybe I'll trail to the pivot. I never ended up changing the trail, just let it kind of the original stop. I did take half on the initial run up, and so that was nice on the APRN. Nice hold here. Good management, I think, for the most part on the APRN. Okay. So nice gap. You can see today something, getting into it, giving it a little bit of volume push on the APR. And so that was a good find later on. So that came in handy. And so did the EMBK, which this was my best scalp today. The only thing I think that made a good amount, off of the lower. I didn't really short much else. HLGN, I don't think made that much. The short side actually was better as a flip, the HLGN, but that was also a scalp. But the EMBK was pretty good. Had a nice, just a nice level 2 here once it started to grind lower. And was pretty good up until that end of that kind of morning part. And then I remember after this drop right here, I started to get hard to get filled. And then after that, it was kind of hard to play, which was fine because I actually stopped working as well. But during off of that sell setup was pretty good on the EMBK. So this was also one that was came up later. So if it wasn't for the EMBK, the apron, it would have been a down day. If I just done the Doyu, I might have found something else here or there, or played some of the other plays from the gaps list. But always comes in handy when you find some good plays and they're better kind of than what we initially started off with. It's always useful to scan. But if you're not, if you don't feel like you have time to scan or you're busy trading, that's kind of the benefit of the room. A lot of other people are doing the scanning. Including me, Sammy James, but also, just room members are finding good plays. One of the really nice plays that a room member found was this ASTR. Just as a scalp play this morning, you just short and trail penny by penny and stayed pretty consistent the whole way down. It even came in again at the end of the day here. I know some people were looking at this to short, so that was pretty good on the ASTR. So a lot of it really comes down to kind of what you're aware of, whether you can choose from kind of the highest quality plays that are out there if you're not even aware of them. Sometimes, you may settle for plays that are not as good, and it may feel like, oh, it wasn't a good day, there wasn't a lot of opportunity, but sometimes you can just miss out on them from lack of scanning. So, on a day like today where the gaps list wasn't that good, and Mondays are often a little bit slower. These extra plays, extra setups, extra finds really come in handy. So you don't end up settling for lower quality plays. All right. So hope you had a nice day today. That's going to do it for today's market wrap. We'll be back at it tomorrow, and I will talk to you then. Have a good evening.